never told my story, so people make an assumption that this is how I've always been, this is who I've always been. And I guess social media allows that to happen because you only ever see on social media what somebody wants you to see. I've never put my fat photos out there because there aren't that many, because I never had my picture taken. After I'd had my daughter almost 17 years ago, there was nothing out there for new mums. Not only that, I was coming out of a really time of my life. I'd been injured for about 5 years with a prolapsed disc. I was hugely overweight as a result of stopping playing my sports, which were hockey to a fairly senior level, and playing tennis and doing all the things I love to do. Probably if I acknowledge that now, being unhappily married, not in a relationship that I wanted to be in. So injured, overweight, hated my job, had a baby. And I didn't feel like Emma Wilson, if I'm honest. I really didn't. So I decided to take things into my own hands and kind of go, right, I can change this. I think sadly for women often get to that crisis point before they do anything about it, rather than perhaps asking for help sooner or seeing it sooner, probably because we're just distracted by everything around us, and we were making do. I was feeling old. You know, I was 31 when I had Poppy, and 32. Yeah, however old I was. Anyway, I was young, but I felt ancient because I couldn't bend, I couldn't sit, I couldn't stand. I had to have an automatic car because my foot hurt on my clutch. It was just, what I needed was to feel like the girl I wanted to be, so that I felt attractive, so that I felt some self-esteem again, because that was what had gone. Confidence probably hadn't, because that's sometimes within you, but in terms of self-esteem and feeling youthful, that had all gone, and I knew that that's kind of part and parcel of and deep down, I guess I wanted to feel. It's going to sound awful, and I'm not quite sure where all this will go, but I guess I wanted to feel about someone, and I didn't have that, and so I knew that to kind of feel differently, I had to do something about it. But it was more than just, stepping on scales and seeing some weight drop off. There was a rehabilitation in my whole body and my mindset, because along the way I was going to disappoint some people. It was mainly about my injury and being unhappy in my heart, because I knew that part wasn't right in my life. I went to try and find an outdoor exercise class for new mums and couldn't, and then found Buggy Fit. And they were saying, well, we've got trainers here, here and here and here, but they were all in London back 17 years ago, and I decided to retrain. So I retrained as a fitness instructor, but with specialisation in antenatal, postnatal, prescription. But for the very first time, I loved my job. I'd done a job for 10 years prior to that, longer than that, 14 years prior to that. But I now felt like I was doing something that I truly loved. The human body, brain always fascinates me, but also my nature is to probably help people. And so I could, new mums, there was nothing out there, and they are neglected once you've had your baby, or this is what it was like. There's nothing, you're just left to it, and everybody focuses on the child. I had more time. I then thought, well, what else do I enjoy? And that's when I kind of then started to self-develop and add different skill sets and disciplines and looked at different things. And I suppose at the point that I separated and divorced, Poppy was 5, 6, I then started to use my original name, which I'd always used in my old job, but not in life. And so Emma Wilson Fitness was probably born around then, when, started going out and doing face-to-face circuits, or I don't know, Kettlesize or boot camps. Yeah, we were doing early morning boot camps in the dark on the fields and stuff. The PT side of things started when Poppy was about 5 or 6 as well. When you're not enjoying something, I think then you make different life decisions around it, and it's possibly why when I wasn't enjoying me as an injured me, I then made some decisions that potentially, led me to not being in the right relationship. Not that there was anything wrong with my ex-husband at all. It wasn't his fault. It was just the wrong person long term for me. I knew when Poppy was 12 months old that it was going nowhere for me. But yet she was nearly 6 when it actually happened. But in that time, I tried to help the other person so that they would be strong and able to move on. I do remember this one counsellor asking me, so because you'll find excuses for things. And I think I'd said it was a time when I'd gone through my journey, so I'd kind of lost my weight, I was exercising again, I'd got my business, I was doing that, and I just said, it's just a shame he's not come on that journey with me. And I feel now we have less in common, but I just don't find him attractive in the way that a wife I think should. And she just said, so if he suddenly walked through the door with a 6-pack, would this change anything? And I was like, no, actually, because that wasn't the reason. It wasn't about aesthetics. It wasn't, I just didn't love him in the right way, the way that you should, because I'd made the choice at a time of my life that I was making choices for based on your own circumstances since then, really. So what would I tell myself? Yeah, so I'd just say do it sooner, because it's just, it's like ripping off a Band-Aid, I suppose. I need to know that I've given it everything without people being able to say, oh, you didn't do that, you didn't do that, you didn't do that, you didn't do that, because I care what people think about me. So I'm not able to say I don't care what people think about me, because I do. I'd be lying if I didn't. So it was the right thing for me, but I just wish there was just some things along the way that I wish I'd not done. I wish I'd just listened to what I wanted to do and carried on down my path and not waited. I've quite easily, being the character I am, just carried on. Pleasing other people. And I would have got by. I would have got by, because people do. You can make things function. And I was proud of myself for stepping away from pleasing people at the time that I decided to break a marriage up. Materialistically, I probably was quite proud of what I earned at a young age, I guess. I was in the IT industry and it was quite stupid at the time. I have no idea what happened to that money. I spent it very easily. But yeah, there's an element of, wow, did I just see all those zeros on the end of my, P60? That was a proud moment at the time. Equally, the flip side of that is a few years after that, I was very much a case of I'd rather have nothing and live in a cardboard box and be happy than have that paycheck and living the life that I'm living. Proud of running my own business. I forget that it's a business to me, because it started off as a bit of I'll just do this buggy fit thing as a hobby because I like it. And I forget that it's actually a business, and that I have run a business being being everything. Bit of IT, which I hate now. I've never liked it anyway, but bit of IT, bit of accounting, bit of, all of it. If I could just do the bit I like, it would be great. But yeah, running a business. And then I guess really proud of how the last couple of years have gone with, the way the world has been. And it's kept evolving and it's kept growing. Always proud of, Poppy. I think everybody says, I wasn't proud of it this morning, but I'm not very good at keeping things to myself. So I just want to share. So I want people to know stuff that can help them, so I don't kind of sit on it and going, I know this, I'm going to keep it a secret, and then I'm the only one that knows. I'm very much a case of, you know what, if you do this, or can you have that, or, you know, when somebody says, where'd you get that from, I'm happy to share it, because then that person has the tools to kind of let us sit on it for a bit, or go, oh, didn't know that. Oh, I might try that. I don't ever want to dictate how anybody should live, or, you know, or make any guarantees. I've never wanted to do that. But yeah, to share with them and give them knowledge. Knowledge is a powerful tool, and you use it to your own advantage, so that it creates a platform for you to launch yourself, or to relaunch yourself, or to just give you freedom. And because, you know, feeling a bit squished, whether it's isn't nice long term, but it's also as you go through the decades, that you don't reach a point where you suddenly feel that you've got nothing and you're nobody, because you're not needed anymore, because you've ploughed so much into everything else. When you get to the point where you are perhaps freer to do what you want and be that bit more selfish, that it's like, well, actually, I've not got the right kit. I'm not fit for purpose. I just want women to be fit for purpose, whatever their purpose they want it to be.